3 days after he ordered his wife to leave for another woman, Seo Joon-woo discovered something that terrified him more than any assassin who had ever come for his life. Not a gun, not a knife, not divorce papers, a tiny silver bracelet, small enough to fit the wrist of a newborn baby. For a full minute, the chairman of Seo Group stared at it lying on the black marble of his desk. Rain hammered the windows of the penthouse office. Lightning flashed over Seoul before vanishing into the dark. No one dared to speak. Lee Do-hyun stood near the doorway, watching. In 12 years, he had seen Seo Joon-woo survive ambushes, corporate wars, and assassination attempts. He had never seen him afraid. Until tonight. Attached to the bracelet was a folded note. Only 6 words. She waited until the very end. Joon-woo read it once. Then again. His hand trembled. For the first time in 15 years, the most feared man in Seoul looked completely helpless. People imagine that the homes of billionaires are filled with happiness. The Seo estate proved otherwise. Every morning at 7:25, Han Ji-eun made breakfast herself. The staff offered. She always refused. She believed a husband should still come home to a meal made by the woman who loved him. That morning, footsteps echoed down the marble staircase. Joon-woo appeared in a tailored black suit, every movement precise, every expression controlled. He took the coffee she handed him. "You barely slept." "I had work." "You always have work." A tiny smile crossed her face. "I was hoping today might be different." For a split second, the cold businessman disappeared, and the man she married returned. "I'll try to come home early." "You promised that yesterday, and the day before, and on our anniversary." Silence. The kind that hurts more than shouting. He wanted to tell her everything, that someone had been following her for weeks, that anonymous photographs of her kept appearing on his desk, that his enemies had already chosen her as his greatest weakness, that every cold word, every cancelled dinner, was his desperate attempt to keep her alive. Instead, his phone rang. Chairman Beck. Fragments drifted across the room. "Tonight, my daughter. Public announcement. Engagement." Ji-eun froze. The call ended. "What engagement?" she asked. He almost told her. Instead, "It isn't important." "When did you start lying to me?" His heart sank, but his face revealed nothing. "I don't have time for this." Something inside her quietly broke, piece by piece. "I understand," she said. She didn't. And that was exactly what he wanted, because if she hated him, she might survive. At the door, without turning, he whispered so only he could hear it. "I'm sorry." Then he left. The breakfast slowly grew cold, just like every morning before it. An hour later, Seo Group Tower stood above the city like a monument to power. Magazines called Joon-woo the youngest billionaire chairman in Korean history. None of them knew that behind the legitimate empire stood another one, feared by every criminal syndicate in Seoul. Halfway through a board meeting, Do-hyun entered carrying a small black wooden box. "No sender. It arrived 10 minutes ago. It won't open." It had no hinges, no lock, no seams, only 6 silver words engraved across the lid. Some promises never truly die. Everyone out. Within seconds, the boardroom emptied. Only Do-hyun remained. Joon-woo slowly removed his wedding ring and pressed it against the center of the box. A quiet click. The lid lifted. Inside, there was no bomb, no money, only a tiny silver bracelet and a handwritten note. She waited until the very end. The color drained from his face. He recognized the bracelet instantly. 5 years earlier, he had commissioned it himself, a surprise for the family he dreamed of building with Ji-eun one day. But that day had never come, or so he believed. He picked up the bracelet. "They're not threatening me, Do-hyun. They're leading me." Across the city, Ji-eun unlocked the door to her small apartment. It wasn't luxurious, but for the first time in years, it felt peaceful. Her phone buzzed. Kim Yuna, her closest friend. "You disappeared." "I needed time. I'm outside. I brought dinner and wine." Minutes later, the apartment smelled of fried chicken and warm soup, and Ji-eun smiled for the first time that day. Yuna studied her carefully. "Do you still love him?" Ji-eun reached into her handbag and pulled out a folded photograph. Their wedding day. Joon-woo smiling a genuine smile, the kind nobody saw anymore. "I don't know how to stop." "You shouldn't have to." Back at the tower, Do-hyun returned with a tablet. Security footage filled the screen. A courier in a motorcycle helmet placed the box at reception, turned, and walked away. Until frame 32. The courier stopped, looked directly at the camera, and raised 2 fingers. Pause. 2 fingers. Not random. A signal. "Phase 2, Joon-woo whispered. "You've seen that before?" "Once. 12 years ago. A warehouse. Gunfire. Blood. a young man laughing while raising two fingers before vanishing into the night. One name echoed through his mind. Kang Hyun-soo, a man everyone believed had died. The next morning, Ji-yeon stood outside a women's clinic. She had cancelled this appointment twice. Today she finally went in. The examination room fell silent. The doctor looked at the monitor, then back at her, and smiled. "Congratulations, you're going to be a mother." Time stopped. A tiny heartbeat flickered on the screen. Small, fragile, beautiful. Tears filled her eyes before she realized she was crying, and she placed one hand over her stomach. And yet the happiness lasted only seconds, because another thought replaced it. Joon-woo. Should she tell him? Did he even deserve to know? Outside, alone on a bench, she traced the tiny image again and again. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I don't know how to do this without your father." At that exact moment, Joon-woo descended to a hidden floor beneath Seo Group Tower. No logos, no windows. Only armed men, steel doors, and silence. This was the headquarters of the organization he had spent years hiding from the world. "I want every camera, every traffic record, every facial scan. Find Han Ji-yeon." "Chairman, if she's hiding, we may never." He stopped walking. For the first time in years, his voice carried emotion. "She's not hiding from me, she's hiding because of me." The room fell silent. No one had ever heard him admit fault. "But someone found her. And before I do, I need to know who." A woman in a white cap had been caught on camera watching the tower. Joon-woo's men found her 20 minutes after she left. Dead. Professional execution. Someone wasn't just watching him. Someone was erasing every witness. Among her belongings was a receipt from a tiny riverside cafe, and Joon-woo recognized the address instantly. 25 minutes later, he stepped inside. One elderly owner remained. "I wondered how long it would take before you came back," the old man said softly. Joon-woo glanced at the corner table by the window, the same table where he and Ji-yeon had spent nearly every Friday after they married. Without asking, the owner set down 2 cups of coffee. One black, one sweet with cream, exactly as they used to order. Joon-woo stared at the untouched second cup. Did she ever come back? Several times. Was she alone? The old man smiled gently. No. She always spoke to someone. "Who?" He pointed to the empty chair across from him. "Your child." The room felt smaller. Outside, the rain returned. For the second time in 3 days, Seo Joon-woo realized he hadn't lost only his wife. He had lost the chance to be a father. And for the first time, the most feared man in Seoul finally broke. He lowered his head into his hands and cried. The owner reached beneath the counter and placed a cream-colored envelope on the table. Joon-woo knew the handwriting at once. Inside, no letter, only a cafe receipt. On the back, one sentence. "I still pray that one day you'll forgive yourself." Even after everything, she hadn't wished him pain. She had wished him peace. That hurt more than hatred ever could. When Joon-woo stepped out of the cafe, his grief had become determination. "Call our people. Find Han Ji-yeon. No matter the cost." That night, alone in her apartment, Ji-yeon's phone rang. Unknown number. Only slow, deliberate breathing. Then the line went dead. A message arrived. Some people should stay hidden. Then another. Especially mothers. The color drained from her face. No one was supposed to know. She called Yuna. "I think someone knows about the baby." She locked every door and closed every curtain. For the first time since leaving the Seo estate, she felt afraid. Across the city, inside a penthouse overlooking the Han River, a man in black stood beside an enormous chessboard. Only half his face showed in the glass. "Seo Joon-woo has activated the organization," a woman reported, "and he knows about the child." Ji-yeon received the message. "Excellent. If the child is important, why frighten the mother?" He lifted a white queen and moved it 1 square forward. Fear makes people run, and people who run always reveal where they're going. Traffic footage showed Ji-yeon leaving the clinic, a man in a gray hoodie 30 meters behind her. Always close. Never too close. "He isn't following her," Joon-woo said. "He's protecting her." On the screen, a speeding motorcycle bore down on Ji-soon. At the last second, the hooded man stepped into its path. The rider swerved, missing her by inches. The stranger never even looked back. "Find him," Joon-woo said quietly, "before whoever sent the bracelet does." That evening, Ji-yeon saw the hooded man across the street, watching her building. Their eyes met. He nodded once, as if telling her to stay inside. Then a black SUV rolled past beneath her window. Someone inside raised 2 fingers against the tinted glass. Across the city, Joon-woo whispered a name he believed was buried forever. Kang Hyun-soo. If you're alive, whose side are you on? Beneath the tower, Joon-woo opened a sealed file. Operation Phoenix. Inside, a photograph of 3 young men, taken 12 years earlier. Seo Joon-woo, Lee Do-hyun, Kang Hyun-soo. Because after Phoenix, Joon-woo said, we erased him. He remembered the warehouse. 3 young men, no power, only ambition. One day we'll own this city, Hyun-soo had laughed. I don't want the city, Joon-woo said. I want peace. You become powerful so the people you love can live peacefully. Hyun-soo stopped laughing. That's going to be your weakness. He warned me, Joon-woo said now, and I ignored him. That afternoon, walking in a park, Ji-eun was bumped by a little boy who pressed a folded note into her hand before running back to his parents. 4 words. Don't go home tonight. When she looked up, the family had vanished. At the same moment, Do-hyun's face changed. There's been a break-in. Ji-eun's apartment. Nothing was taken. Every drawer open, every cupboard searched, but nothing stolen. Joon-woo understood. They weren't looking for valuables. They were looking for the baby. Ji-eun rushed back to find police cars surrounding her building. An officer led her upstairs. The apartment looked untouched, except for the bedroom wall, painted in black. You should have stayed with him. The room began to spin, and she collapsed to her knees. Outside, Joon-woo arrived just as the ambulance pulled up. He saw her for the first time in 3 days and took 1 step toward her. Their eyes met. The police, the lights, the crowd all disappeared. He wanted to run to her, to tell her everything. Instead, she turned away and walked past him without a word. For the first time in his life, Seo Joon-woo faced something more terrifying than losing his enemies. He had lost the trust of the only woman he had ever loved. Forensics found a tiny flash drive hidden beneath her dining table. No fingerprints. In the underground command center, the screen showed footage from 5 years earlier. Ji-eun leaving a bookstore, a black sedan rolling behind her. Then another. Another day, another location. The same vehicles, the same men. Watching. Waiting. Then a photograph of Joon-woo beside a warehouse. 4 words scrawled in red. You chose too late. They really were watching her, Do-hyun said. For years. Joon-woo remembered the threat from 5 years ago. Choose your empire, or bury your wife. He had pushed her away to remove the target from her back, and they had watched her anyway. Everything he sacrificed had been for nothing. That evening, Joon-woo received an old photograph of 3 young men by the Han River, with a message on the back. Meet me where promises began. Midnight, come alone. It's a trap, Do-hyun said. They've had 12 years. If they wanted me dead, they wouldn't keep sending messages. At midnight, on the old Han River pier, a man stepped out of the darkness. Gray hoodie, black cap. The same man who had protected Ji-eun. He removed the cap. It wasn't Kang Hyun-soo. It was someone much younger, late 20s, with the same eyes, the same jawline. My father always said you'd recognize me. My name is Kang Min-jae. I'm Hyun-soo's son. Hyun-soo never had children. That's because my father spent 12 years protecting a secret that was never his to tell. He paused. My father isn't your enemy. He died trying to save your family. Min-jae reached into his jacket. On nearby rooftops, Do-hyun's snipers took aim. My father said you'd never really come alone. He smiled, then handed over a worn leather journal, its corners burned. His diary. He told me if anything ever happened to him, this belonged to you. Joon-woo opened it. If you're reading this, then I failed to protect all of you. He turned the page. They're not trying to kill Ji-eun because she's your wife. They're trying to kill her because she unknowingly possesses something they've searched for 15 years. What does that mean? Min-jae looked at him. The woman you tried to save has been protecting you all along. That night, in Yuna's apartment, a knock came. 3 soft knocks. No one at the peephole. A small box on the floor. 1 word in black ink. Ji-eun. Inside, a tiny knitted baby blanket, cream-colored, handmade. Beneath it, a photograph of an older woman smiling beside a sewing machine. Ji-eun collapsed. My mother? I thought she died, Yuna said. So did I. A note slipped free. She never stopped looking for you. Back at the Han River, Joon-woo read on. An entry dated 5 years earlier. Today they delivered the photographs to Joon-woo. He's going to push Ji-eun away. He'll believe he's saving her. He'll never realize that's exactly what they wanted. I did exactly what they predicted, Joon-woo said. You were never playing your own game, Min-jae replied. You were playing theirs. At the command center, every monitor lit up. 9 identical black SUVs moving through Seoul at once, each toward a different district. One toward Yuna's apartment. Joon-woo's phone rang. The distorted voice. Chairman Seo, if you could save only one, your wife or your child. The line died. They know. Inside Yuna's apartment, the lights went out. 3 slow knocks. Patient. Then a voice, quiet and impossible. Ji-eun. Tears filled her eyes. A voice she hadn't heard in years. Mom? Silence. Then, very softly, my little girl. She reached for the doorknob. Before she could touch it, a deafening explosion shattered every window. The building shook. Smoke filled the hallway. Yuna pulled her behind the kitchen wall. What was that? Outside, the black SUV parked across the street burst into flames. The explosion hadn't been inside the apartment. Someone had just stopped an attack. Miles away, Joon-woo saw it on a traffic camera. His face went white. Ji-eun. He sprinted for the elevator. For the first time in years, he wasn't running toward power. He was running toward his family. When Joon-woo reached apartment 307, the door stood open, empty. Only the knitted blanket on the table, and Hyun-soo's journal beside it. He opened to the final pages. If you are reading this, then I couldn't protect her anymore. I promised your father that if the day ever came, I would choose your family over my own life. I kept that promise. He turned the page. One sentence changed everything. The mastermind was never after your empire. He wanted the ledger. Do-hyun looked up. The charity foundation. 5 years earlier, Ji-eun had volunteered to reorganize the accounting records for the Seo Foundation, which secretly moved millions to protect witnesses escaping organized crime. Without realizing it, she had uncovered proof that politicians, executives, and crime bosses had laundered money together for over a decade. She never understood what she'd found, but someone else did. That single discovery made her the most dangerous witness in Seoul. The photographs, the threats, the fake engagement, the years of surveillance. None of it had been about Joon-woo's empire. It had always been about silencing Ji-eun. Ji-eun sat in an ambulance. A nurse checked her pulse. The baby is fine. The doors opened. Joon-woo stood there, soaked, his suit torn, his face exhausted. He climbed in, closed the doors, and dropped to his knees. I'm sorry, I lied to you. I thought making you hate me would keep you alive. I was wrong. His voice broke. I lost you anyway. For the first time in years, she saw no chairman, no billionaire, only the man she married. She placed the ultrasound photograph in his hands. You should have seen this first. His world stopped. The tiny heartbeat, their child. His tears fell onto the paper. I'm going to be a father. You already are. I don't deserve either of you. No, she answered honestly. You don't. She took his hand. But if we keep living in the past, our child loses both parents. I'm not promising to forgive you today. I'm only promising that I'm willing to let you earn it. For Seo Joon-woo, it was more hope than he believed he deserved. Across the city, the mysterious man watched police raids spread across Seoul on his television screens. Arrests, confessions. His network was collapsing. It's over, the woman beside him said. No, it's finally beginning. He placed a flash drive into the fireplace and watched the flames take it. Every king eventually falls. What about us? We disappear. When the police stormed the penthouse minutes later, it was empty. Only one white chess queen rested on the table. The game had ended. The player had escaped. 6 months later, spring returned to Seoul. Cherry blossoms filled the streets. The little riverside cafe was busy again. The elderly owner smiled as 2 familiar customers walked in. Seo Joon-woo, Han Ji-eun. This time he wore no suit, and she carried no sadness. Between them, a stroller, and inside, a baby girl slept peacefully. I've been saving your table, the owner laughed. Joon-woo lifted his daughter. Tiny fingers wrapped around his thumb. Around her wrist, the silver bracelet. Engraved inside, one word. Forever. I made you one promise 5 years ago, he said. Ji-eun smiled softly. You finally kept it. Outside, the river flowed on. For the first time in years, Joon-woo wasn't thinking about enemies, or power, or revenge. He was thinking about breakfast tomorrow morning, and making sure he would finally be home for it.